If you're listening right now to the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast, we know something about you. We know that you're obsessed with Little House on the Prairie.
For more than half a century, Little House on the Prairie, the series and the books have been bright lights for people all over the world who seek out goodness, decency, and human connection.
Here on the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast, we celebrate everything that made Little House so special.
The stories, the characters, the actors, and the messages that have made Little House iconic family television.
And a perfect counterpoint to a world that feels like it's going off the rails every day.
Where is Michael Landon when we need him most? I'm your host, Pamela Bob.
And I'm your prairie bitch, Allison Arngrim.
And I'm Dean Butler.
Our hashtag imaginary boyfriend. Join us for our loving, quirky, and often irreverent conversations about the finest family drama in the history of television.
And the imperfect people who made it that way.
In this third season, we are extremely grateful for the support of VisitSeeMeValley.com for their continuing sponsorship of Little House on the Prairie and the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast. Oh, hello again, bonnet heads. How you doing? I'm Pamela Bob, your host, creator and star of Living on a Prairie. I'm here with, you know her, you love her, our prairie bitch, and she's really a bitch in this one. We were just talking about it. She's terrible. We love her. Allison Arngrim, here she is. And our lovable hashtag imaginary boyfriend, Dean Butler. Although I'm sure you have a bitch side to you somewhere, Dean. We all do.
Oh my God! Well, I don't know if I want to go to bitch side, but it can get a little rough sometimes. Absolutely. See, I think the thing that's so when you talk about Allison, what Allison did is there was always this sense of pleasure in it.
She's Hannibal Lecter.
I mean, she wasn't just awful. She was working
actively
at being
awful. Yes, absolutely planned and pleasured. Yes.
Yes. I mean, how miserable can you be?
Which, as an actor, is the more fun way to go about it, for sure.
Oh my God! Of course. I mean, that's Allison, one of the great parts ever.
Sure. Well, Allison, you were just saying before we pressed record on this thing, but you were just saying, "Oh yeah, I started this episode looking at myself, going, oh yeah," and then immediately went to, "Oh yeah, oh no." And that was my reaction exactly. Like, oh, here's another Allison episode. Oh no, she's horrible, but in the best way ever. That's why we love you. But anyway,
oh my God, this is one of those therapy episodes.
Yeah, it's rough, man.
It brings up childhood trauma.
Well, it's a beautiful spring day here in town.
Shut up.
I think we're expecting a high
Not
of
fair.
78, but it might go to 82
Stop it.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, the sun and the trees and the little birdies. And it'll be 84 on Wednesday here.
This is Allison doing Nellie hardcore right now. Terrible. She's a terrible person.
So, all right. So, tell us how it is for you. I mean, you are in so much of the country is in the situation that you're in right now, Pamela. So, what is it?
It's 9 degrees
right
currently, and it's going to be that way for the rest of the month, like all of February. So the thing is that usually when it snows in New York, there's snow, and then a week later, within a week, the temperature rises a bit and it all melts and it's done.
And it's slush and you're getting your feet wet.
This ain't going nowhere. And I don't know if you've seen, there's a video, but it shows like the difference between how places like, let's say Chicago or Toronto or places that are equipped to normalize the cold and the snow, right? How they clean up the streets and the sidewalks, and it's very efficient and works really well. And New York is not quite up to task for that. So it's and it's a walking city, as we know. So if you're lucky, you get on some sidewalks that have been shoveled. But if they have been shoveled, I don't know if there are also all these videos of just New Yorkers walking in a single line, which is unheard of. But you're walking in a single line because there's only a foot long, wide space that has been shoveled for you to walk through.
Where the ice is gone.
And also, the walkways are not shoveled, so you still have to climb through the snow to cross a street or to get across a corner.
Wow.
And it's icy and hard. Like at this point, it's impacted and it's icy and it's hard. So just walking is really difficult.
I'm just imagining, Pamela, there are going to be a lot of trips to the emergency room, or a lot of falling going on this month. That's going to be tough in that city.
I think people are just, if they can stay in, they're just staying in because it's just too difficult to be out there. Even just walking the dog is like,
absolutely.
Oh boy. Oof. So anyway, that's me, East Coast, represent.
Well, so like Allison, here I'm in Northern California. I'm sort of southeast of San Francisco.
What's it there?
And it's like 61 degrees this morning and blue sky, and I'm looking out the window from the old family ranch, looking into San Francisco, 40 miles away, and it's. It's a pretty. I've got a coal oil lamp lit this morning to honor my my prairie roots past, and if you could see this place, I mean, in the narrow shot you really can't see it. In the wider shot, I'm in this house that was built in 1906, and it's family, charming, lovely spot. It's really
and hopefully
great.
It'll stay in your family.
And it's not brutal cold.
Yeah. Well, there's that. Every time, again, I've said this to you guys before, every time this year, I'm like, why do I live here? Why? Why do I choose this? I choose.
And you, of course, who love the snow. Yeah. Love the snow, love the cold.
Although I have to say, I hate the hot too. It's not like I am a summer person either.
Then
I like mid. I like mid. Isn't San Diego known for like?
You hate the
San
extremes.
Diego a town that's like 72
San
all
Diego's
year
lovely.
long?
It's on the water.
That's a great city.
That's what I need.
I am told that when I was a bambino in New York, because I was born in New York, that the apartment we were in Queens, as a matter of fact, on our floor, my parents were saying, boy, it's really cold. It was one of those like blizzards, serious blizzards, and I was, I guess, one. And it was super blizzard. And they're like, man, it is cold. And I started going, the heat works here. Why is it so drafty? I think it's colder. Did somebody leave a window open? It's awfully cold. We better check on the baby. And they came into my room, and the window was open. Like, they said that much. They said it was just a crack. But the wind was blowing hard. And I was sitting in my crib going, yay! And there was about a 3-foot snowdrift in my room because the wind had power driven the massive amount of snow under the crack. And it was just piling up. And I was going, woohoo! And they're like, and that's why it's freezing in this apartment. Okay, move the baby, close the window. Yeah. So, you can get a snowdrift in your house if you don't close the window. That can happen to you.
Do you guys also in California, I know it's a very New York thing. I mean, it's a thing that, you have these old buildings, these old apartment buildings, these old houses. And so when the heat goes on, the radiators have a clank, clank. I mean, it sounds like there's the Tin Man is battling on the pipe, just clankety clank. So things get loud too. Do you guys have that over there? Or is that like a very New York thing?
Really.
We have. I think that is a very New York thing. My mother lives in a building that is, I don't know, probably early 1900s built. So it's got a different kind of heating. But what's so cool about that? What's warm about it actually is that it's very thick walls.
Right.
It's brick. It's thick.
sturdy.
So it stays very temperate inside. It can get very hot outside. It can get very cold outside, and the apartment stays pretty constant.
I think Jimmy Fallon this
good.
past week posted on his social media just a video of him sitting in his office in Rockefeller Center.
I'm sorry. Now, who was this?
In his office in
gotcha.
Rockefeller Center, and it's just him. He doesn't speak. It's just him sitting on his couch with the radiator in the back, and all you hear is just the clank, 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 clank. It's like a minute straight.
That's an old city noise. In LA, we don't have buildings that are really that old, like LA.
Right.
And there are a few, and yes, I remember, clankety clank, but generally, first of all, our desperate cold is
you
like
don't
a very
need
short
all
period
that
of the
heat.
year. It doesn't get that cold. If it goes to below 40, it's in like a mass national panic. But it's just not that cold.
So interesting about 30 Rock is that it's such an iconic building on the outside, and you look at it's just got this amazing look to it, and everything around
Yeah,
it
the
is
Art Deco.
fantastic. And then you go inside to 30 Rock and you go upstairs to the offices and you sort of go, at least where I've been to at NBC, upstairs, it's like, this
No, it's
isn't
just
so
an office
great.
building
Up here,
with studios in it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, the Today Show is like packed into 30 Rock and it's amazing what they get done there. It's because there's just no space. But it's not this. When you go to NBC's facilities in Connecticut, where it's open and
That's
airy
probably a new
and
building. Yeah.
Oh, new buildings. Yeah, and they are. It's a whole different experience. But 30 Rock is not all it's cracked up to be. I can imagine Jimmy Fallon with the sound of the the metal clanging in the background.
We were also talking about before we recorded, just like how did people survive the winters like this? Like how did they do it?
I know.
And it reminds me of I've talked about this show a million times because it's so prairie. Frontier House, which was a PBS show that our friend Chris Chaika was the historic expert, I suppose, for it.
I love that.
What did he know about
I think
living in that
He's
time?
read a lot of books. He's read a lot of books.
Yeah, no, Chris knows a lot
Very
about all
passionate
kinds of
about
things.
it.
I get
But
that.
but
Yeah.
That's the show where they had the people volunteer to
live
try
high.
a borderline game show. I used to laugh. I would tune in to laugh because I only had to do that for a few hours a day and I got paid.
Yeah, and it wasn't really anything like that when we were doing it for a few
There
hours
was
a
time
day.
when you're like,
4
I'm
months.
cold, I'm
They
hot.
had to build their own
Where's my
cabins. They had to do
makeup?
everything that the pioneers actually did. And the whole
And they would
goal
cry.
of the 3 or 4 months that they're out here living like the pioneers actually did, which is fascinating.
And I would tune in to laugh.
Oh my
at
God,
them.
it was
I
the
would
most
laugh at
fascinating
them.
show ever.
You
But
volunteered
the
for this.
final test is the last day that they're doing this show is that a historian comes and sees how much wood they have chopped to see if it will have lasted them through the winter. And I think out of all of the people on it, maybe one person chopped enough wood that would, and they spent 3 months chopping wood. I mean, that was like the daily
incredible.
task was chopping wood, and all of them
we
would have
talk
perished
about
in
this-
that winter.
Yeah, no, we talk about this all the time when we're talking about it's that farmer's life where what you do today is so essential to what your life is like next week, next month, 3 months from now. There's no running to Home Depot to pick up some firewood or whatever. I mean, it's just like you either do it or you're not going to survive. And I think when people fantasize about how great it would be to live in that time, I just, they really aren't. They're thinking about
They're
the
not thinking
idyllic
it
look,
through.
and it
Yeah.
looks. Yeah, they're not. That was a tough
Yes.
life.
Okay, my dad grew up on a farm, Great Depression. I mean, it was like
Yes.
Dickens. He was in the orphanage. And I was like, oh my God. But, okay, so it was the Great Depression, so that's a while back. But they were also in Mozart, Saskatchewan, in the middle of freaking nowhere on the prairie. And like they had a lot of equipment from the 1800s. The house was, 1890s. So they were living a little 1880s, little 1930s. They had some way back stuff. And he said, okay, warmth. Now, we had heat in the house. We did have heat. There was like a steam thing going on. He says, we weren't like completely primitive, although we had the wood burning stove. He said, but it was so cold in Saskatchewan, and anyone in Saskatchewan is watching knows what I'm talking about. They would take cow manure and rolls of brown paper, and you'd go all the way around the house outside, and you dig down maybe couple of feet, around the baseboards outside of the house, around the edge, and just make a little space between the earth and the house, a little bit. And in that little pocket, you would pack as much cow manure as you could against the base of the house, cover it with the paper, and then pack it with earth.
As insulation.
All the way around. Don't miss the spot. Don't
Why?
miss the spot.
Why?
It sealed it, insulation, so those drafts that would
are
come in
blocked.
from the bottom of the floorboards, because the earth would freeze.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah.
The ground is frozen solid. There's a drift of snow 6 foot high all the way where like that episode of Little House where you have to climb out the window. You're like frozen in. So that cold on the bottom would get so cold. But you've packed this manure, so right away you've created a layer of insulation between the massive amounts of snow and the bottom of your house, the floor. And the cow manure, yes, it would decompose and generate a small amount of
Brilliant.
heat.
It's actually
That's interesting.
Yes. And
Yeah,
with the
that's
paper and
interesting.
earth, he said it was amazing the difference it made. I mean, yes, they had heat, but you could feel the heat because you had sealed every little.
How did it
Yeah.
smell? Or could you even smell it at that point?
Luckily, it would get
But it
cold
freeze
enough,
it.
you wouldn't. He said, while you were doing it, you could definitely smell it. It was
You'd
like,
be grateful for it.
oh yeah, it was like, which chore would you like today? No, I'll clean the pig pen. I'll clean the pig pen. Please don't make me do
Oh, my God.
I'll feed the chickens. What do you need
Allison,
me to
you
do? Yeah, it was like the chore
You
you
need
really
to write
didn't
a book
want.
about your dad, man. His life is so fascinating, and your mother's life is fascinating too. But every time you tell your
but
dad's stories,
my dad should be a musical, though. I think my father's life should be a musical. It really is. It's that nuts. Did I make Dean spit? It's that funny. Yes.
No. It's well, it sounds like I did, but having known your dad a little bit, I definitely get the musical side of it, and yeah, that would have been a lot of fun. Your dad had a real spirit of sort of mischief about him, and I mean, just the smile, the
looked
whole
just like
thing.
him.
He just was very world wise and sort of always a sort of a step ahead of what was going on. And you just sort of saw that in his eyes. I mean, I didn't have these conversations with him. You just sort of felt like he
and
knew
from
stuff.
such humble.
But he had milked all the cows
I know, such
and fed
humble
all the chickens and
beginnings.
chopped all the hogs. He
To
had
go
done
from
that.
to go from
it.
where he started to what he became and what
Yeah.
he made of himself is just, I mean,
Yep.
Just
it is
really wild.
incredible,
Yeah.
incredible.
Pamela, I think we should take us to this episode
Do it.
because this episode, because we could
I
could
know.
riff on
That could
ourselves
just be
the
the
whole.
podcast,
We can't
but
do
we
that.
won't do that. Okay. I'm going to read a line that Dean wrote that is so poetic. Here it is. On this episode, I'm going to do my podcast voice. On this episode, we consider the pain and the allure of keeping the world in focus. What episode are we talking about? So good.
And then
But first, before we delve into that, from UBN Go and Prairie Partners and visit SimoValley.com and our wonderful patrons, this is the Little House on the Prairie 50th Anniversary Podcast. Okay, Dean, hit it. What are we doing today?
fire away.
So, all right. So, just on that
Yes.
allure thing, I went through my thesaurus to find
Yes.
the word that was
Okay.
the right word.
Very poetic.
So, anyway, yeah, I thought allure was maybe a good word for this. All right. So, today, if you haven't figured it out yet, today we are talking about episode 2 of season 2.
Another season
Four
2.
Eyes.
Yes.
Yes, another season. Yes, so we're jumping earlier into season 2. Season 2 had
Really
some
good
good stuff going on. This is a really important episode of Little House, Four Eyes, which debuted September 17th, 1975, written by B.W. Sandefur, directed by William F.
The
Claxton.
Claxter.
I think really one of his shot by Buzz Boggs. This was really a beautiful episode. Interestingly, this was not one of those episodes where they were going to Sonora or Arizona. This felt like it was entirely shot at Big Sky, and yet it had a much bigger feel than that to it, and some beautiful cinematic shots, which
Who
we'll
did you
talk
say-
about. Allison, what is Four Eyes about? And because you made
Yeah,
it
and then
so
I have a
miserable.
question about, what was his name? Buzz? Okay, I'll ask
Haskell
after the
Boggs.
synopsis.
Buzzy Boggs. Buzzy
Haskell
Boggs.
Buzz Boggs. Was
I'll do the
DP
synopsis
on
then
this
I'll
one.
ask. Who is he?
All right, and Sandefur wrote a lot. He wrote a lot. We have a lot of scripts that went. Okay.
He produced a lot in seasons 1 and 2. He
That
produced
name is
37
like-
episodes of
And
season 1
the
and 2.
Claxter
I just
directed
remember, oh, it's a
some
B.W.
classic
Sandefur.
episodes too.
Well, this one is a doozy, and according to the notes, Mary is excited to receive a pair of brand new glasses at first, but her excitement fades when other students relentlessly tease her. Oh, other students?
Yeah, that would be you.
Me. Yeah. Even after Miss Beadle points out her own pair of glasses. I notice we don't go after her. No, thank you very much. Mary decides to lose, oopsies, her glasses until Miss Beadle unwittingly shows her that she does not need to worry about her glasses making her look unattractive.
Wow, chicka,
No.
bow,
No, no.
bow.
Fun fact, many fans wrote in after this episode to share how Four Eyes had helped their children cope with similar situations in their life. Yes.
Yeah, so I think this is what makes this episode so important. Talk about something that is an everyday thing. I mean, look at all the four of us.
I wore my glasses
We're all
today.
4 Eyes.
That's right.
I'm wearing mine in honor. Everyone, see, that's the thing is, well, we will talk about that. My Annie Mary. Oh, do I have bullying stories? Oh, okay. Mary Ingalls, Walnut Grove, resident
So this is, Allison, what you're reading now is sort of the edgy or the more descriptive part. That's the short summary. Now you're getting the longer summary.
The longer summary. But you know the thing. So, Mary's the overachiever, and then, oh no, what is happening? She can't see. She can't
Her
see.
school.
Her school. Now, this is also spooky because it's like foreshadowing. She's going to go blind. Ah! It's like hint, hint, hint. But they go to the eye doctor and they get her the glasses and it's great. Enter Nellie Oleson, who insists that Mary's new spectacles will destroy her beauty and her appeal. So Mary decides she'd rather fail school than be a Four Eyes. By the end, Mary wisely chooses eyesight over vanity.
Yeah,
it's
it
a little
sure
more
is.
complicated.
Yeah.
Yep. And the more your grades improve when you can actually see the assignments, and we can always count on Nellie Oleson to be horrible. Yes.
Okay, so question. You said shot by Haskell Buzz Boggs. Who was this, a cinematographer? Who was he, and was it rare that he did an episode?
Oh, okay. So we had 2 primary cinematographers on Little House. Ted Voigtlander, who was Michael's DP of choice. When Michael was directing, Ted was shooting, although I'm sure Buzz shot some of Michael's shows too.
He was genius.
But Buzz and Ted had very different approaches, but they rotated episode to episode.
What do you think
for
their
the most
differences
part
were, Dean?
I think that Ted shot in a very naturalistic way. He wanted, like when he did Night was a much more subtle kind of night. Lamplight was a very subtle, beautiful lamplight. Buzz was a more he was older man, but his, like when Buzz shot Night, it was blue night. He hued it blue, so that's how he created that feeling. But this episode, I always think of Ted as shooting these beautiful cinematic shots. There are some really fun shots in this episode. And this is Bill Claxton working with Buzz, and they craft some of these really cool shots, which we'll talk about when we get to them. But the biggest difference, as I said, I think, is Night. Ted's lamplight was very natural. Buzz's had a little bit more. You maybe felt a little bit more that there was something going on in the craft of that to make that effect work. But in this case, a lot of lamplight in this episode.
Yes.
The lamplight was beautiful in this one.
Well, it's all about lighting and vision. I just have to say, growing up on the show was wonderfully bonkers that the camera people were Teddy and Buzzy. Everybody, anyways, we call Buzzy and Teddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these were 2 older gentlemen that had shot a lot of stuff. Ted was a multi-Emmy Award winner. As a cinematographer. He was just such a cool guy. And Buzz was sort of like, I don't know, Allison, I always think of Buzz as a little bit like Porky Pig.
He was a total character. He was out. He was out of some movie. It's bonkers. He's out there at Forest Lawn, Hollywood Hills, by the way, because I happened to take Danielle, our French friend, out there to see if and I was like, and here's Buzzy.
Wow.
So Buzzy was a character, and so they made it very, very interesting duo. It was quite something.
And they were both such great, responsive. The camera crew, led either by Buzz or by Ted, so good, such skill. The gaffer crew, all of these guys worked so beautifully together. Everything just happened the way you needed it to happen. And this show is quite beautiful, and you don't expect to see as much of the world at Big Sky, perhaps as you saw when the show went on location, where you could really open things up. this was pretty good. There was a lot to see
there
here.
was actually a shot that I was like, God, that is so beautiful, because you felt it was like Laura was at the creek next to the house, and it's when Pa and Mary come back home and she drops the basket and she runs the basket, and she runs in like how they always do when Pa comes back home.
Yes.
But the setup where, you see the tree branches and the top of the screen coming down, the beautiful creek, then the house in the background, the winding road in the background with the tree,
going up the hill.
It was so beautiful, and it gave that feeling of, I want to live here. I want to live with these people. Like this house, this feels warm and welcoming and loving, which is,
Of course.
And the lighting is just, we all look so good on the show. And in this one, I said, I look so cute. Oh, that pink dress with the pinafore, one of my favorites. I am so cute. And this little China doll, I look so pretty.
Yeah,
and
that
then
scowl on your face.
And it's like, geez, look, what is going on with that show?
You and Jonathan
he was
were
awful
particularly
too.
the 1-2 punch in this one with horribleness.
He gets it from you, though.
Jonathan was such a great naughty
Especially because
boy.
his vocal,
So
I mean, what a
his voice
fantastic
was
naughty
so
boy he was.
ridiculously like Pinocchio high. I mean, the falsetto,
So cute.
that's really high. That, by the way, went on for a very long time. It just made his taunting 10 times worse because it's
so annoying. Because like four eyes. Shut up.
So let's
take it to the top.
Let's
Jump in.
let's get into this. So
I have notes.
do you okay? So you were there. So Allison, why don't you start with what you want to
Well,
start
I mean,
with?
the
and we'll
first thing I
react.
wrote down is, wow, I am particularly hideous in this episode.
well,
This is
yes.
the first thing I wrote down. Torturing stutterers, humiliating people in glasses.
Yeah.
What is it? I mean, just talk about
Yeah.
ableist. I'm just so vicious. Oh, okay, right. The whole thing about the grades. This is all about grades. It's intense. And that's when Mary puts a lot of pressure on herself to be perfect, get straight A's. Her parents go, and that was something I noticed. They're very modern. We hear stories about people in more recent times who would spank or physically punish their children for not getting
grades,
a B or better. And, go to your room, you didn't get A's. Pa is like, hey, well, did you do your best? And well, I see you got B's. He's smoking the pipe. Oh, that's much better. You improved in this subject. And Ma's like, but your grades are way down. And he said, oh, what did you want me to do? He said, you want me to stomp around and raise Cain?
Yeah,
you want to throw a
right,
fit
exactly.
and scream at my child because their grades went down like this much. So very modern. But Nellie and Willy are doing a thing also very modern. Our mother pays us for grades. You get like insane amounts of money, like 25 cents, which, as we know from the show, can buy you like a whole wagon wheel practically. And then later, like $1 if I get straight into that's like a month's worth of wheat. I mean, it's like insane amounts of money, and she's paying them for grades, which is disgusting.
I mean, some parents do
I mean,
that,
It happens.
Yeah, I mean, I can see. Okay, we're going for
Sure,
ice cream if
right.
you get straight A's or something.
Sure.
Something like here, cash on the barrelhead for
I
specific
remember going to
numbers.
school, and some people I went to school with got paid for grades, and my parents were never. I remember being like, "Well, how about if I?" And my parents being like, no." I mean, they took on the what Ma was saying of like grades are for grade.
Yeah.
They're for your own
for their
sake.
own
It's
sake.
not
Right.
right. That's what my parents thought also.
Nellie is getting good grades, and this is way before the cheating episode, so we
Correct.
don't know if she cheated or
I'm
not. 'cause
assuming
before
she cheated the
episode-
whole time.
Probably. I myself was not a straight A student. I was very, very, very good in elementary school because I considered that pretty easy. I got all A's and B's. Junior high, when they started throwing algebra at me, I was like, it went down a bit. And I was working and everything. But this Nellie seems to be a better student than I was. When she's carrying on and announcing things and they're reading all the stuff in school, I'm going, I did not know that until I watched this. I did not know that. So she's way too smart. But as Laura says, even eggs get graded, which I rather like.
No, that's a
And
great.
I'll
That's a
use
great
that
line.
somewhere.
I wonder if at that stage of the time. I mean, that's an interesting. I wonder if at that time eggs did get graded. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Mrs.
You're right.
That's a
Mrs.
fact we
Olson
need to find
graded. Okay, so yes, Mrs. Olson graded eggs, double
Right.
yolks, and more
Arbitrarily,
all of that.
but
exactly.
she hated them totally. Now, It's interesting. Jonathan, again, a great Jonathan performance. Like I said, he could stage stuff when I would thump him and he'd go flying out the scene. At one point, Laura, she doesn't really push Willy. She just really touches him and he completely falls over and lands on the ground. I had to run it back. I'm going, did he just go blah and fall down for no apparent reason? Willy just fell over.
Jonathan had great instincts about all of this.
He knew.
He had wonderful instincts about it. And you never felt like, well, you've talked about this. We could go on and on about Jonathan and the things that he did. You never felt like Jonathan had the slightest clue about what was going on. And yet he delivered wonderful, wonderful stuff. All the time.
Exactly what he was doing. And part of it was having the demeanor of where am I? Who am I? Who are you? What day is it? What? And you just went,
great adjustment.
Hasn't a brain in his head. And then he's like on it with every line. And then like the falling over stuff, the physical stuff he did. You're like, how is he doing?
He's so little.
Baby. But no, he was so smart. He was so smart.
And the voice, as you said, Pamela, the voice was so singularly annoying.
And I think he's working at it. I think when he first started, he didn't realize. But somewhere around, second season, he saw people go like, oh, well,
this is working.
Totally. This is good. I'll do more of that. It's like, oh, that's creepy. Poor Mary. The great and Miss Beadle having to do the different classes.
Oh my God,
I know.
I
remember thinking, wow, that's right. My father talked about.
I was wondering about that
and how hard that was. Mm-hmm. And she's having to do because she's got kids who are like 16, 17. She's got kids who are 5, and it's like she's got to come up with some lesson plan for everybody. And she's written it all on the boards. And I'm like horrified that she has to do this.
I have a question for you guys. So, Mary's working very hard. Her parents care about, everyone cares about grades, yada, yada, yada. But actually, in a practical sense, I wonder if parents really cared if their daughters did well in school, right? Because it's not like they're being set up to have careers, or I mean, they talk about teacher. You'll be a teacher. You'll be a teacher because that was the only job available.
That was the career.
That was the only job you could have.
Now, in their house, because Ma had been a teacher and Mary had talked about wanting to teach.
It's just very interesting to me, and this is more historical. I don't blame the show for this whatsoever. It's just on a historical level. I wonder what, in terms of girls, especially girls on a prairie, right? Like in the country. Like I wonder what the expectations for girls actually were.
I don't think they'd be as high, especially like in history and mathematics. They'd be, that's nice, dear. You can count the eggs and the chickens and the pigs when you're working with your husband on the farm. It wouldn't have been as big a deal unless like, I mean, now in Mary's case, she was absolutely going to be a teacher. Her ma had been a teacher. So they were expected to have very good grades and a high level of knowledge of math and science and history. And absolutely in that house. But you saw some of the characters of the farmer families. Yeah, they'd be like, well, she flunked math, but she's pretty. So they didn't care.
Well, and for young boys, I mean, it was really about, are you going to have a strong back, and are you going to be able to, I mean, that's really what the pressure was for most in an agrarian culture, which is where they were. That was really the currency. It was how strong, how hard could you work, how efficient could you be, now, so, and then sort of in a very human biological sense, young girls are generally ahead of young boys
to begin with.
At that age,
at that age. So I don't know. This all works for me, and of course, in the context of Little House. And my computer is chiming here. In the context of Little House, it's a story about focusing around young girls, and it's important to have that aspiration.
And it's very modern.
And it's wonderful. It's wonderful fuel for this particular episode.
And they're doing a lot of 70s stuff with like Nellie Ingalls being so modern about it and everything. Very interesting, interesting showing off.
And that's why I was saying, like, this is an actual separate question aside from the show. Because I know the show is doing what the show is doing, but historically, I wonder what it actually was like for women. And the boys, too, who are going to grow up to be farmers, right? Like...
Yeah.
Right.
Now, my dad on the farm in the one-room schoolhouse, they did want them to do well in school as family because, well, they had like 11 kids. And they said, well, they're not all going to be
Right.
farmers. People are going to leave
Right.
and do stuff.
Right.
So, yeah. And as he said, his father, they would take him at least once a month. They'd like go into town and see something, a concert, a play, something. Because he said,
Culture.
I can't have them
Yes,
be ignorant.
yes.
I mean,
Very
they have to have some.
good for
they can't-
them.
They're not all going to live here with the pigs and chickens forever. They're going to,
Yeah.
they got to have something here.
I want to say, in terms of the pressure that kids today are under, certainly kids of a certain kind of socioeconomic background or a sense of how they are going to be, what they're going to be in the world. I think kids are under far more pressure today to deliver in the classroom, in extracurricular activities, whether it's, judo, piano lessons, dance classes, whatever it is. I mean, there's sports. There is such pressure on kids to deliver because there's this real sense that if, what you do as a 10, 11, 12-year-old is going to define your access to what you're going to be able to get to as an older kid, the schools you're going to be able to get into, the opportunities you're going to have. So the Charles Ingalls, you'll do better and you'll work a little harder and that's all going to be good. That's so refreshing.
Right. And what's
So
important is the
refreshing,
learning,
particularly for
not the
kids
test
today.
taking. Right, the learning.
Yes, the learning,
right.
not the test
Which is
taking.
true. But, if you want to get into Harvard, yeah.
Well,
that won't-
Pamela,
yeah.
you're raising young kids. I mean, as you look at this, what do you see?
I think grades are important for us. Mostly,
Do you pay?
no. My husband, no.
No, of course you don't.
You know
No,
what my
I know.
husband will do though, if either one of my kids, and Henry's a sophomore in high school, so that's more.
Henry's a
Thank
great
you.
kid,
He is
by
a
the
great
way.
kid.
A
Thank
great
you.
kid.
Margot's in second
Yeah.
grade, so there's but if they get
Margot's a cute
She's
girl.
adorable. If they get 100 on a test, Hal said that he'll give him a little treat. So for Margot, that means a sweet. For Henry, maybe that means like
Nice.
$10, so he can go out to dinner with his friend. Get something for himself. Right.
Yeah, they said going to the movies,
Right.
going for ice cream. Wow,
But
you
I
did
think
really
grades,
well.
I think
Boo-
grades
Yeah, nice.
are
Maybe.
particularly important for my husband because his parents were not. Hal's a teacher. He's a special ed teacher now. But growing up, he was not a good student. I mean, he got expelled his freshman year. I mean, he was not good. But he always, and he had these awesome parents. His parents were both artists. His father was an opera director. His mother was a visual artist, costume and set designer. And they were, they were very artsy and they weren't so academically driven how I am. I am not academically driven, even though I was always a good student, but I don't care, right? I don't really care. But Hal cares because he feels like he was never pushed and he should have been. And so with his kids, he's like, no, I'm doing homework with them every night and I am making sure that they're on the, thank God, good for him, because I couldn't care less. I mean, I care that they do well, but I'm not driven that way. So, and also we're thinking ahead of how do we afford college? How does anyone afford college in this country? So, any kind of
And what is
extra
it they're
help,
going to
if it can be
do?
on an
Is that,
academic scale,
yeah.
the better the grades, the better chance he's got of getting some sort of help.
And what business is it they're going into? Is that something that is a 4-year college type of career, or is that a different kind of school career? Is that
well,
go
and
to
also
Europe
the
for
other
a
weird
gap
thing
year
is,
or
and then we'll get
blah,
back to the
blah.
episode. But the other weird thing is, with AI coming, so many jobs are not going to be viable anymore. I mean, even if graphic designer, right? It's not going to be
different.
around that much longer. So it's also navigate.
Well,
it'll be different.
It'll be
A lot of
different.
jobs will
Yeah.
either not be around
Okay,
or be
okay.
very different, maneuvering.
It's all different. When
how do
Bob
we
started,
figure this out? Yeah.
when Bob started in school, he started with studying engineering and switched to psychology. But when he started and he worked as drafting and blah blah, there were brushes and
Right.
pens
That's
and
right.
protractors.
Right.
It's AutoCAD. It's AutoCAD
computer.
now, and which he did learn. But it's like, he said everything I learned in high school and college on how to do this is oh well.
Don't need that anymore.
It's this now.
Yeah,
you have to learn
really
to do this, and so
interesting.
it's a very, very different world. Yes, there will be AI and systems, and there'll be computer programs for everything in the universe, and you'll still want the skills and to know those things, but you'll be doing them.
It's going to be
very,
a different
very, very,
way
very
of
different.
using whatever skills that you have for that thing.
Right. I think there still has to be hopefully for people who excel, a background in these things, which gives you some intellectual understanding of the principles of what you're doing. And these things, it's interesting how AI forces you actually, if you're really paying attention, to think about what it's actually giving you, and adjust it based on your own sensibilities, and you have to have a sensibility to ask it to adjust.
Garbage in, garbage out, garbage
totally.
in, garbage. If you don't know it and you just go, AI, you're going to get crap.
Right.
Anyway, back to the prairie.
All right, let's jump. Let's go back to the prairie. So,
can we talk about mincemeat pie just for a second? So they get to the house,
What
and I'm like,
mincemeat
what the
pie?
hell? Are they having
pie.
mincemeat pie for dinner
No.
or dessert? Because there are two
Mincemeat
different
pie
kinds.
is very British. This is what it is. It's just it's a meat pie. It's just ground meat with some veggies and a pastry.
It
that
used
can
to
be
be-
a mincemeat, or it can be a dessert pie. It can be a sweet one that you have at Christmas.
This is why mincemeat is so confusing. Currently, if you go buy a mincemeat pie or jar of mincemeat, it is fruit. It is dried chopped fruit, raisins.
That we have it. You have at
currants,
Christmas,
blah blah blah, and you have it for Thanksgiving mincemeat. My Auntie Mary made a hell of a mincemeat pie, but it's kind of like it's the fruitcake of pies. It's all that
love
chopped like
mincemeat
dried
pie.
fruit stuff in a pie.
Oh, I love
but
Do you? Okay.
They used to put suet. And you don't really want to know what suet is. Think lard and fat, and it's gross. You don't want if you don't want to look up.
But it tastes so good.
Don't Google
Fat is
suet.
flavor. Fat is flavor, baby.
But this is what was it. But in the olden days, in like the 1500s, yes, it was absolutely shredded meat and some fruits. They went, well, if we took the shredded meat and we threw in some currants and raisins, what do we get? And mincemeat. So at the time the Ingalls were eating it, it's the 1800s, a little iffy. Were they having a dinner mincemeat pie
or
that is shredded meat with some
dessert.
fruit? A dessert mincemeat pie, which would have been fruit and some beef tallow, suety, meaty things as well at that time.
Allison.
We don't know. Was that a dinner mincemeat pie? Was that a
Blowing
dessert
my
mincemeat pie?
mind.
Either way, they're disgusting.
All
Disgusting.
right, for the record, I like mincemeat. Okay, mincemeat pies. I like them.
I don't know how we get back into this episode. We are
Oh my God,
wandering
oh my God.
all
Okay, let's
over
get
the
back to
place
Mary.
here.
So Mary is flailing in school. They cannot figure out why. Ma
Bad.
even goes to school to talk to Miss Beadle. And it's like, what's going on? Is it a boy? And she's like, no, it's not a boy. I don't know what's going on.
I love they all go straight
a boy?
to, is it a boy? Is it a boy?
No, I thought that when I heard that conversation, all I thought about was you, Pamela, and how you might go off hearing that as a, is it a boy? It's like, wait a minute, trivializing this problem.
Right?
Oh, it's just a boy. What an outrage that is. I mean, how do you react when
Well,
you see
I actually
that?
didn't get mad about it at all because when I had my first serious boyfriend in the 10th grade, I skipped half of my classes all year long. So it's a thing.
Boom!
Oh, wow.
It's definitely
Boom, there it
it's
is.
definitely a thing. I mean, it is. Your focus gets warped and yes. No, it's a thing. That did not bother me, but I love that you thought of me. I love that you thought it would.
I did because I thought that's sort of a sexist thing to say.
But they also
Is it a boy?
Yeah.
And
And it was more than
know,
once.
maybe
there's a lot
that's
of
exactly
people
what
saying,
it
"Is it a
is.
boy?"
It was more than once. It was like, is it a boy? Oh, and then, hey, is it a boy? No, it's not a boy. And I'm like, ooh, they're all going. How old is she?
13, right?
In the end, we're going to
It's
find
really
out it really is all
Right,
about a boy.
exactly.
It is
Well, that's
technically
the part.
because it becomes about
We'll
vanity.
We'll get there.
Now
Okay,
later.
yes, we will totally
Now,
get there because
I
that
just
is
wanna
the part
say-
that was like, come on, we'll get there.
Nellie's hand goes up. I'm so adorable. I'm in pink a lot in
You're
this episode. I
awful.
just want to say I'm so cute. It's some of my favorite outfits. I'm so adorable. Big pin of four things. And I get my hand up and I said, I had to write this down. In 1588, the defeat of the Spanish Armada
Yes.
began the
dominance of the British Navy.
The dominance of England's power over the sea.
Yes.
I did not know that until I watched this episode. Because I'm like, what? What did she do? She had all these dates, and Miss Beadle going, we have a historical event for every date, and we went over this. What is the historical event we all talked about that are these particular dates? 1492, even Willie knows that one. And I go 1588, the defeat of the Spanish Armada.
1607, Jamestown. I remember getting so.
I'm the one who goes, Jamestown.
I remember blowing my 8th grade history test. I mean, this Mr. Wilcox had been talking about Jamestown forever, and I don't know what I answered like San Juan Batista or something. Like, what was I thinking? And he looked at everybody like, what are you? You're not paying attention to anything if you can't come up with Jamestown.
1607, the founding of Jamestown, the first permanent settlement in North America under the leadership of Captain John Smith. And I'm like, what? How am I even? Okay, my mom and my aunt were all really proud.
P.W. Sandifer wrote it for you.
Exactly. And my mother and my aunt were so proud that I stood up and said these things. And I went, really? Was that? First I heard of it.
What did you have to do with it?
I did not know these things. I don't think my level of history was.
Well, you were
weren't
very
that
convincing
up to that part yet.
No, of course.
I was in junior high. I was like not, and no, I was not a good enough student that you could yell out 1588 and I'd go Spanish Armada. No, that was absolutely not something that was ever going to happen in my world. I don't know that now.
I was like, you just told me 2 minutes ago, and I still don't remember it. Okay.
Yeah. So that cracked me up that I was such a good student. I'm going, yes, no, that's acting because I didn't know.
And this and then Mary's thing in this is that she
can't answer any of the questions.
She can't answer anything. What's interesting to me is that she couldn't say. It's an interesting choice. And maybe this just speaks to our need to project that we're always okay, but that she couldn't say to anybody, I can't see that.
So this was my question also about this episode, because I mean, the fact is in modern day watching this episode, you're like, yeah, it's about getting glasses. What like that's an everyday occurrence. And it makes me go, oh, how common was it actually? I mean, I know that they say that people's eyes have become much worse as the generations have gone on from there. Part of it is because we
go to glasses right away.
Part of that they think is because we're not outside as much as we used to be, and our eyes are affected by that. But I wonder also just actually how common it was for people to need glasses back then, and obviously they know nothing about it. So her saying that her not saying I can't see, I could sort of justify because it must have been very frightening, and maybe she just had no idea that anything could be done about it
back then. There's a scene at the eye doctor when Pa, like, I don't want to jump ahead much because he does that terrifying scene where he figures
it's like
out
a horror story.
But the doctor says something about maybe one day they'll test at school. Like, they didn't. There was no regular testing. People didn't know. My father, again, in the one-room schoolhouse, was at the back of the room. He thought he might be stupid. He wasn't sure, and he was terrible at math because he little dyslexia, and he couldn't see the Bible. He couldn't see his eyesight. He was nearsighted. No clue. They were on a farm in the 30s, and who had money for glasses? He had no clue. And then, of course, when he left home and he could read plays and produce shows, went, I don't know. Well, of course, he's holding it here. And it wasn't until well into adulthood that he wound up going to an eye doctor and actually getting glasses.
Even
way
though
into
he
adulthood.
couldn't see, it didn't click of like, oh, I can't see, I need glasses. It just wasn't a thing.
And he was terribly vain.
Interesting.
We actually kidnapped him and took him to the eye doctor. We had to force him. And then he got them and was like, oh, and said, I think I've been a little nearsighted my whole life because I actually couldn't see the button. I'm like, are you kidding me? You mean you had this whole time? A little bit, yeah.
So as we race towards a quick break, we have burned so much time on everything here.
But I mean, basically, she gets glasses.
So what was it you saw on the eye test?
Pa freaks out. That's the big change, because he's like, what is with this? And why are you studying? Why are you studying with the lamp here? What are you doing? Why are you being so weird? And he's like, why don't you know and finally he goes, wait a minute. And he starts writing numbers on a slate and goes,
Right.
what's this? No, stay over there. What is this? She can't read a thing. And he goes, okay, oh my God, it's her eyes. It's her eyes. It's her eyes. And then takes her to Mankato because
but the
he
thing
can.
is, which makes you go, oh my gosh, this must have been super serious back then, is just the fact of like, oh, I can't see. I probably need glasses. But it wasn't as simple as that back then, obviously. I mean, for her to have eye problems, the way that they handled it on the show, the way that they shot it, the way that the music was, the dramatic tension of it was
The anxiety
as if
that was
she
created,
was getting tuberculosis, like as if this was a life-threatening type situation, which it could have been on the prairie.
And remember, this is though foreshadowing because we know, in some sense, if we've read the books, didn't you have scarlet fever? And didn't you? Oh, wait, and people are waiting at home with their books, going, "Did she go blind? Didn't she go blind soon? Did she go blind yet?" And that's kind of subliminally there. So it's right. Is she going to go blind? And that's why it's a huge deal that she gets glasses, and the whole audience goes, "Oh, thank God."
Let's talk about the eye exam with Dr.
we will
Burke.
talk about the exam.
Interestingly, he's looking into her eyes with candlelight, using candles, and it's reflecting into her eyes, and he's seeing what he's seeing, and it's like, we still use eye doctors still use a version of that device that we saw there, and maybe I don't know if that's what they actually did, but that's what we saw, and we certainly have all seen a version of that device when we've gone in to get our eyes checked. So it's sort of, that was sort of interesting. And she's sort of, we watch the things, the world come into focus for her. The music
is very eerie and suspense-filled.
Now, something that really sort of cracked me up is right there, and you can't go to any of the instant eyeglass stores.
I know. I have that in my notes. I was like, oh, this is a lens crafter.
Yeah,
apparently.
I can't get these right. You know how long these took? I went in, I had the exam. They said, we'll call you in like 2 or 3 weeks. And how did you go home with glasses? How did you go home? I can't go home with glasses.
It was the original lens crafters. They had people right there. 1 hour guarantee. Boom, your glasses are made. I have that written down too.
Get ready for the experience you'll never forget, and he did it in 10 minutes.
I have to say something, though.
And it's like,
he even said they were custom because they said catalog. She said, oh, don't people get them sometimes out of the Sears catalog? Which they did. They were like cheaters, like you buy at the drugstore, like if you were mildly nearsighted. And then the doctor says, oh, no, those aren't as good. So he's already saying that they're customized to her particular vision problem, not just cheaters, and yet they leave with them. Did they stay in Mankato for 3 weeks till they were done? I don't know, because these took 3 weeks.
Well, Mankato, you'd have to send to Chicago to get these things.
Minneapolis,
you'd have to send to New York. This is not something you're just going to get.
No, I also wrote
that was a little
down.
weird, because we all know you can't get the glasses that fast, even now. And she
of course not. But that was fantastic. And then, of course, as the second act ends, they're driving home. They're driving back to Walnut Grove, and Mary is wondrously looking around, seeing the world that she has maybe never seen in her life.
This was me after LASIK. This was me after LASIK, because I was nearsighted for ages, and then they finally said, hey, the LASIK, I was turned down for it. They go, no, and then they kept changing the LASIK. They go, oh, we can fix that, and that's fine. The astigmatism, not a problem. And they said I had very thick cornea, so I went, do it.
Now, I want to say we're going to take a quick break, but I want to say a little bit, the structure of this is a little like Into the Woods. What happens after Happily Ever After? She has her glasses. She's got The World is Beautiful. Right. I love you. I love my glasses. I love you too. End of Act 2. Let's take a break because the world is going to get really ugly and it's all you.
All right, guys, we'll be back.
When you visit Simi Valley, California, you're stepping into the pages of history. Go from the pioneers to the presidents. Explore beautiful wildflowers, hike through iconic Hollywood locations, and end your day aboard the actual Air Force One at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum. Throughout the summer, take the Little House 50th Anniversary Tour at Big Sky Movie Ranch. Less than 15 minutes from Los Angeles and 30 minutes from Universal Studios, Simi Valley has small-town charm with big-time history. Go to visitsimiValley.com for more information. We are so grateful to visit SeeMeValley.com for their commitment to presenting the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast.
All right, we're back. Listen, before we get on to that, I have to do a little note that you guys would not know because you are not little kids who are fans watching this. But the eye exam scene as a child watching this is the most riveting, crazy thing you ever watch, ever. I know I've talked about Mr. Rogers had a segment where they made the crayon. He went to the crayon factory and you saw how the crayons were made and it was transfixing. Like it was like the most that's what this was. It was a bit scary because the scary music and the tension and the close up of the eye, which can sometimes be a little freaky, but fascinating. As a kid, it was like, oh my gosh, he really, that you would not get watching as an adult. You would not get watching now, but just the kid's perspective, it was like, unbelievable, that eye exam scene.
And really nicely shot. And that actor who was making his day, and we saw him multiple
He's
times
the eye doctor
throughout the series. And he was, and I'm sorry, I don't have his name. That's our bad.
Ford Rainey.
Ford Rainey. There you go. And this was the first of many appearances. There were quite a number of nice appearances that he made on the program.
And he was on he was on everything. Bonanza. His IMDb is bonkers. He was this fabulous character actor who was in at least 2 episodes of every single television show you ever saw. He's one of those guys. He's great. He's
okay. So now Mary's back
really
home.
Good.
She walks confidently into school with her new glasses. It's a whole new world. And then cue Nellie.
And then Mitch and her little hideous brother show up, and we're so awful and stupid because, and this is the thing. Back then, we were just saying people didn't all have glasses. Nowadays, because I'm trying to remember, did anybody call anybody four eyes when I was a little kid in school? No, because half the class had
I have
glasses.
recollections of that. I have recollections of hearing that. I don't think it didn't have the pejorative on it that this had, but definitely that term was used.
I didn't hear much teasing of kids with glasses because half the class had glasses. Yeah, you might your friend who you knew, hey, we have 4 eyes now. But as a thing, these kids are freaked out that somebody has glasses because when do you see someone with glasses?
No one had glasses.
Even though
Walnut
their
Grove
teacher
in
rocks
18
glasses every single day. Oh, also, fun fact, Charlotte has said this before, the glasses that she wore on the show were her actual glasses that she wore in real life. They were like her 1960s hippie glasses.
Her little hippie,
her hippie
glasses. Charlotte was
coolest.
so. Think about Charlotte. Another little fun fact with Charlotte in the classroom. Charlotte wrote everything on the blackboard.
She did,
and there was a lot of writing on that blackboard.
When the scene was being prepped, she would come in early and write everything on the blackboard, so it was all her writing.
And
this
so
was a big deal for her.
Because one of the first episodes that she'd had writing, she came one of the guys and she went, "That's not right. That we wouldn't have that on the board. That's not correct." And he's like, I don't know. And she's like, "Give me that thing." And she did it right. Now, this is where I have to bring up my beautiful Auntie Marion, which some of you may know stories about, was my guardian on the set. My parents both worked. My Auntie Marion took me to the set every day. And for the whole 7 years, because even after I turned 18, I came to work by myself a couple of days and everybody said, "Well, where's Auntie Marion?" Because she'd become part of the whole fabric of the set and the family, the crew, and everyone. And I said, "Well, she didn't have to be here." And they're going, "Yeah, but why not? What's she doing today?" And so I called her up and said, "Listen, you want to go anyway?" She goes, "Yeah." So I get 18 years old. I'd leave my apartment, go pick her up and take her to work.
You're driving her in the Ranchero.
Bring her with me. Because where's Auntie Marion? So she was absolutely part of the whole Little House family. And it's all about my book. What an incredible woman. I believe that the fact that I'm not screamingly insane today and that I have any kind
Just
of
a touch
moral
insane,
center and the right and wrong thing. I don't know.
No kidding.
Annie Marion, babe. Annie Marion all the way. Woo, woo. Annie Marion. So Annie Marion was also a very beautiful woman. She looked very young for her age. I mean, everyone saw pictures of her on the set. Oh, how old is she? Like 20 years older than you think she is. The woman looked great, but she was very beautiful when she was young. By modern standards, she was tall, dark hair, dark-eyed, with cheekbones to die for. But in the time period that she was a young girl, which was 20s barely, they liked short, cute, blonde chicks. Well, like my mother was a big hit, but so they thought tall girls were weird, and she wore glasses. My Auntie Marion told me that this episode was very difficult for her because when she was a girl in school, they called her the four-eyed donkey. She was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful girl. Four-eyed donkey, and that she would never marry, and that she was ugly, and she said it was horrible, really hard. And she was sensitive and shy, and it was bad, and she could still hear it 60 years later. So we do this episode, and I immediately, me and Jonathan, yes, Four Eyes. She sat me down and said, "This is a very difficult episode because I love you and you're my niece and everything, but like, did it have to be Four Eyes?" I can still hear them saying that. You have no idea how bad this was, and explained to me like that was really bad, and that like I may not watch this when it comes on. I just, you're shooting the scene. I'm gonna go over there while you're shooting the scene because this is killing me. I'm listening to my favorite, adorable, such a good little girl that I know is a good little saying this stuff. So she said, "Yeah, you've done some bad things, but on the show, I get it. You're the bad." But really, she almost couldn't be there for this. It was so traumatic.
Well, it was so traumatic.
And I'm like, ooh.
It was so traumatic for Mary that she goes and loses those glasses.
Freaks
yes,
out.
Right.
Right. I get all the other classmate members to do it too. They didn't care, but I told them to do it. So she comes and says, "Four Eyes," first, and I call it Four Eyes, and Willie's going, "Four Eyes." What was that? He's so insane. And how come Laura goes to fight back, but only against Willy. She doesn't try to take me on. She tries to take on Willy because I guess she can knock him over. I don't know. It's so awful.
But the piece de resistance is that she says, because they're like, "But Miss Beadle wears glasses," and they're like, "Yeah, and she's a spinster."
Yes.
And she's right there, and then she goes, "Class."
but Nellie's whole thing was, "You're never going to get married." Look at Miss Beadle; she's not married either.
Oh yeah, you'll never get married. No one will ever love you. You'll never get married because you're ugly. And then she says, "Miss Beadle has glasses." Yes, she doesn't have a husband either.
And that's
what was that? What am I? 11? I'm like, she doesn't have a husband.
Right. So it's interesting. There are two references, the exact same line referencing just like Miss Beadle. The first time, it's a foreboding thing, and the second time, it's a good thing. So we're going to get to why it becomes how it becomes the good thing, because we're burning so much time here.
I'm going to skip forward. So Mary comes home and is like, "Sorry guys, lost my glasses." And also her parents take it weirdly very well. I mean, they're upset, but like she doesn't get in trouble. And I was like, well, that wouldn't have happened in my household. Yeah. I mean, I remember once
Pa raised his voice one time. You were supposed to wear your glasses all the time.
Yes,
a little.
That was the
but
one thing.
Come on.
And because medically, the doctor said it was better for her eyes, but he just says, "Well, it'll be harvest. It'll be harvest before I combine."
There was no actual you what? Like, how dare you? Like, what were you thinking? That would have not flown in my household at all. There was one time I accidentally threw away my retainers. Because I had to take them out to eat my lunch, and I accidentally threw them away, and I came home and I was like, "Sorry, I lost my retainers." And my mother was like, "Oh no, you didn't." And we went back to the school, and she made me go through all of the garbage cans. And we found them.
That's amazing.
Anyway,
one time years ago, I was trimming in the yard, and my glasses came off somehow. And I was done with trimming in the yard. It loaded a huge garbage can filled with stuff. Couldn't find the glasses, and we ended up pulling the garbage can, going through all the trimmed hedge to find my glasses.
And
that's a real deal.
And you're not a subsistence farmer,
That's right.
and yet you were like, "Where are my damn glasses?" And nowadays, any kid, the parents are like, "No, do you know what those cost?" You bet.
You got to find those glasses.
Kid.
That's
They're
real.
expensive.
They really are.
And for the Ingalls, he said, "Well, it's going to be harvest." He's being very matter of fact, where it's like, "That's how it is, babe. No glasses."
Well, and of course she's taking the position. Well, I was bad and I lost them.
I don't deserve them.
I shouldn't have. You shouldn't get me another pair. I mean, it's like. Because Nellie had been so awful to her that she just couldn't bear the ridicule.
Fear of being a spinster.
I have driven her to go hide and possibly lose because they're in a log.
Yeah.
An insanely expensive pair of glasses that her parents have sacrificed to buy for her. And she's hidden in the log, and now her parents are really upset, and they're just trying not to come down on her too hard because she's got enough problems, but they're a half out of their minds going, "Oh my God, how much are glasses?" And it's my fault. I
Yep.
did this. I just want to.
So
all right. So now, Pamela, this is the sweet spot for you now as we're coming to this. So she's given up these glasses. She's hidden, but something turns for Mary.
Does.
So I want to hear your
well,
outrage
first,
here.
here it is. Okay, so they're in the playground. They're playing. Mary's getting terrorized again, so she's like, "I'm going to sit by myself on the side of the school because I need a moment here." And cue another strange man hitting on minors on the prairie. Why is this a recurring theme? Why?
He's cute.
Oh my God, it's so creepy and gross.
Brian Richards. Brian Richards. I don't know. He doesn't have much of an eye to Brian Richards. I think this is the only thing he ever did. Don't know. Cute as a button.
He was pretty good.
But
he was
also,
great.
it's like she has no
But he goes,
idea.
hi there. And he's
flirting.
He's
It's so
flirting with
gross.
the 11, 12-year-old girl. He's like, hi there. You're so pretty.
Thank
He's like,
you. She has no clue. I'm like, girl, run. It's not safe.
she should have a whistle and be blowing when running into the school at this point. But no.
But anyway, long story short, he asks for Miss Beadle. He says he's her beau, and he walks into the church. The school, it's school mode now, and then she eventually goes into the school and catches Miss Beadle doing a little kissy
In a clinch.
with the
Lip
like
lock.
totally lip locked, and I at that moment was like, yeah, Charlotte, yeah, knowing Charlotte, we know Charlotte.
Was like, it was probably some boyfriend of hers. She got the job or
Right?
something.
No, this wouldn't have been any. This wouldn't have been any strange situation
No.
for Charlotte.
In fact, it was a very
for Miss
tame
Beadle.
kiss for Charlotte.
Oh my God.
For Miss Beadle.
Charlotte was so
Yes.
attractive, and she could have
Yes.
boyfriends for days.
And owned her sexuality and owned the free love movement.
She didn't
And yes, more power to you, babe.
And like I said, it's probably some dude
Yeah.
she knew. And
Totally.
so
Of course. I'm sure they probably did.
She would
We
totally
should
do that.
ask her
She totally
about
did
that.
that. But she now,
But
in
for
the
Miss Beadle,
1800s, this would have been grounds for dismissal.
1,000%.
It was actually
She would have been fired.
Absolutely.
If Mrs.
She would
Olsen
have been
walked
like,
in,
what?
she would have been fired.
Because that would have been considered extreme
Yes, it would have
public
been.
display of
my
private
God,
matters.
child.
And it also, the teachers are not supposed to really be dating or getting married. And she is like, "Nom, nom, 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 nom." I mean, yes. And a child saw you. Yes, in real life in the 1800s, she'd be pulled before the board.
Such an interesting message that seeing that moment.
Mary.
And then Mr. Stacy, the lawyer, said, if I'd met you
No.
first.
Stop it. Stop it.
Jesus.
But so that's the turning point moment. It is a
I know.
man
As long
has-
as I can be still attractive, if a man would be willing to marry me, then cool, I'll wear my glasses. It's so complex because, as you know, because on one hand, I'm like, yes, I understand this was the 1800s. Like, this was the goal. Like, a girl needed to get married. That was what it was. So on that hand, I'm like, I get it. And then on the other modern hand, I'm like, this sucks.
Don't you know I wrote down talking to strangers again? Mary has gone off to sit in the dirt, and then again we're going to complimenting little girls. What is going on in this?
Yes.
Because it is like
Yes.
jarring
Yeah.
by today's. There we go. What
Can we
what
also
is
say
happening?
go Miss Beadle with the lawyer? What the hell happened to the lawyer, dude? She ended up with the pig farmer.
No, she ends up with the pig farmer. For God's
talk
sake.
about punching down. Dear God, what happened to the lawyer?
But you know, lawyers, they work all the time. They,
Who
you know,
knows?
It just didn't work. He was totally
I was like,
gorgeous. I don't know what
score.
that was. Maybe it was the fact that he kept complimenting 12-year-old girls. Maybe
Yeah, that,
he
flag,
said, I
red
don't
flag.
think this is a good idea.
I wonder for audiences at that time, I wonder how many mothers and fathers were sitting at home watching
Thinking it
that
was
moment
creepy?
happen. And look, it's it's pretty benign, but if you read into it a little bit, there's a messaging there that's not great necessarily for a young girl to be getting. And
But I also think, what was this?
that would never
What
work
was this?
today. That would be very
1975,
upsetting.
76, 75, right? I just think,
Yeah,
I just think
75.
the conversation. I mean, this wasn't the conversation then. This wasn't the conversation until,
No.
I mean, quite frankly, I think the past 10 years is when people have started to go, oh, wait, maybe that's not, okay. I just don't think it was part of the, even a part of the conversation.
I think it's still kind of, there's a positive because, okay, at that age where you're not very mature yet, the thought of, I want to be pretty.
Of course.
I mean, we all want to be loved. We all want to be attractive in some way. At that age, you go, I want to be pretty. I want to be pretty. And you got me and Willie going, you're not pretty and you're ugly. And that's kind of awful and horrible self-esteem. And then someone goes, whoa, you can be pretty. You can have the glass. You can be so pretty that the pretty guy from the wagon is kissing her face off. That this is somehow, oh, okay, yes, if you have glasses, you can be pretty. When, oh my God, I won't be pretty is your biggest worry at that point, at that age.
That's it's sort of a tough message.
Yeah,
so
like,
then,
is that
all
the
right,
takeaway of
Mary,
this episode? I wonder then, like, what is our takeaway of this?
But I remember being that age, and you're not sure you're pretty. And I mean, as we see here, I was an adorable little, I was cute. I was a very cute little girl. But I didn't always, as I started to become a teenager, I was like, I don't know, am I pretty? Am I pretty? Because there were some really pretty girls.
Of
how
course.
pretty am I?
We all think we're
Totally.
geeks when we're that age.
And I thought I was geeky and I was short and stuff. And so I was like, I don't know. And I was worried. And so, so
You were worried. You have conscious memory of being worried.
Oh, yeah. Well, the problem was because I was short, and we talk about like bullying later, but like my parents started comparing me to short, famous actresses to make me feel better.
Oh, okay.
But let's
a lot of people were short as famous actresses. I mean,
the reality is everybody from Betty Davis on down was short as all get out. They were all tiny. But they started like mentioning actresses that were short that maybe were all character actresses and not known as being terribly attractive.
No.
And I went, oh, that's the
messaging.
No, this is not a selling
Just
point.
generally speaking, the messaging for girls is just, it's harsh. It's a lot.
Yeah. So Mary sees the kiss, they have the conversation. She runs off to get her
Mary's
glasses.
like, I can be sexy secretary. Yes.
Exactly. Which is a look that totally works.
Okay.
Totally.
I went on Reddit, and we know how awful Reddit can be. Reddit is gross, but I was on Reddit, and look, there were comments about this thing.
Oh, okay.
And there were young guys going, oh, I'm sorry. Did guys not like girls with glasses? They were sort of lost because they had the sexy secretary thing not happened yet. Right. And they were all like, but girls in glasses are so hot. They started naming anime characters with glasses. And they're like, I thought girls with glasses were hot. Oh, yeah, sexy librarian. Oh, shut up. And so,
well, that's progress.
I think it's totally a look. And
thank heaven.
Yeah, there's just something. There's something about that sort of shy, but sort of comely. It's like, wow, that's stuff that gets your, as a young guy, that certainly gets your attention.
And the librarian teacher, him, giving you the.
But so she does the test. She wins. She gets the grades. Nellie is thwarted.
She wins the history test. Yes,
thwarted again, despite my knowing everything about Queen Elizabeth and the Spanish Armada and Jamestown. Queen Isabella. I would go, Queen Isabella was, my mother says Queen Isabella was more important than Columbus.
Prove it.
Once Mary believed she could get the guy, there was no stopping her.
But it was also interesting. There was a positive message because,
love watching you, Pamela.
It's so,
but wait, smart women are pretty. Because she didn't have to be dumb to get the boys. She got the glasses and got the good grades. And there was no thought of well, I can't get good grades. That'll make the guy. There was a whole mindset at one point going, girls should be dumb. Don't tell anyone you have good grades because the boys.
Right. Well, don't intimidate young guys by being smarter than they are. And I say, to hell with that.
Didn't do that. As soon as she got those glasses, she was back to straight A's with the full belief that she was still attractive. So smart girls are still attractive was a biggie in this episode, which is huge.
Yes.
Also,
that's big.
But the whole episode ends with then Mary finally she wins this history competition and she shows Pa and I'm like, girl, what? Why? But she comes clean to Pa and says,
yes.
She comes clean to him. And I was like, Mary, you could have gotten away with it. Why? But her conscience is very guilty. And
yes, Mary's very
and like
morally
another
grounded.
classic Pa moment of being super understanding and kind and caring and unconditionally loving, and that's what it's all about, baby.
Pa cemented his place as one of the most beloved father figures with the way this was written and the way he did this episode. Michael and Karen, both cemented themselves as admirable parental models.
Yes, and I love when she comes home with the glasses and Ma runs out. She goes, "Oh, Mary, you look so attractive.
You look so attractive."
Thought, that is just so dear, because that wasn't weird sexist stuff. That was just confidence, and you look beautiful no matter what. And great.
Correct.
And also the love that Mary has for Pa and Ma, especially Pa in this episode. You understand why she loves him so damn much.
And it's so about lying and conscience. You mustn't lie, and she comes a cropper. But also, hi guys, Michael Landon wore glasses. I mean,
did he wear glasses all the time?
He wore these very cool big
aviators.
I love those huge 70s like aviator glasses. They were amazing.
Who was the wonderful Lou Wasserman wore those kinds of glasses.
They were the rage in the 70s.
So did Michael Landon wear them all the time? Like he needed them to see, or was it just readers?
Most of the time. He had them on all the time. He had them obviously to read, to do stuff, and then he had the ones they went dark, the shades.
Well, I think he wore dark glasses. I don't know. Were they transitional? I mean, or rather, would they change? I think he wore great dark glasses when he was shooting outside.
But he had those big suckers, and obviously a lot of the time when he was reading a script, when he was working on a script, and he would get those out and look at things, he wore glasses all the time. So he had glasses.
I mean, I've seen him with pictures of glasses.
And he looked hot
of course.
in the freaking glasses. You've seen pictures, he looked completely hot in the glasses.
I didn't realize he wore them as often as yes, Dean, because that's what really matters, if you look hot in your glasses or not.
And I just want to say how hot we all look in our glasses.
We're all sporting our 4 eyes
for reading. Like, I can see you guys, you're close and everything, but if I want to read something that's a little small, I got to bust these out.
I can't read anything without glasses on.
My far vision now is great. I used to have sucky far. I was very nearsighted. I couldn't do things that were more than 5 feet away. And then when I was in my 20s, I got glasses. But then I got LASIK some years ago, and I loved it. It's controversial, but I loved it. It was weird, but I was like Mary in the wagon going, look.
See the world, look. Right.
But then they said, well, your close-up vision's going to go to hell. And I went, so it did.
But that's cool. Wearing glasses as your occasional accessory is very cool. It's different when you depend on them.
Sure, Nice.
Now, I was turned down for LASIK because my cornea is too thin, and I say it is the only part of my body that's naturally thin. God. Sheesh. I cried.
I think we should talk about
We're going to talk about all of this in Patreon. Right. I'll save it all.
Yes, exactly.
Glasses,
anyway, but that's our episode. It's a beautiful one. It's a great episode. And also, again, might I say, another sort of slow-paced episode of a quieter, it's about a girl who gets glasses. I mean, that's really what the story is. It's not brain surgery.
No, a lot of subplots here. Grades,
so
beauty,
done.
glasses. That's kind of it.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the great cinematography. We got so caught up in the messaging about glasses and boys and.
That's okay. There was great cinematography. I mentioned it in the beginning.
There was great cinematography in this.
Well, as I said, that when she gets a scene at the doctor's was just bonkers with the shots of that and how that was done. That was
one of those rare scenes. One of the rare scenes, and it's not necessarily great cinematography, but it's interesting that it wasn't normally done this way. That the scene between Caroline and Mrs. Oleson in the Mercantile was shot where the Mercantile was dressed on location because the wagons were going by on the outside.
They used the windows.
That was a rare shot. You did that. Interestingly, on a foggy morning, now this was not necessarily great cinematography, but a wonderful shot. Michael comes out of the barn in the fog, and you cut to the inside looking over Carrie's shoulder, and he's shooting into a blue cyclorama. They are back on the stage at that point. So it's foggy morning to blue cyclorama, but a really great shot through the glass as Paul comes in the door. And then the last one that I loved is the scene where I think it's where Pa and Mary are talking at the end, and Pa's sitting there in the water chute.
That
is
shot,
behind
and I don't
him.
think we've ever seen that shot before or since.
It's a beautiful,
Yes, it
beautiful
is.
shot.
The composition of it is gorgeous.
And I just thought, wow, that's gorgeous. The movement of the water, the framing of that is beautiful. Obviously, all of that had to be looped because the water would have, everything was looped on the ranch. So, but just some really, really, really pretty shots. Congratulations to Buzz Boggs and to Bill Claxton. Some really great stuff in this.
And baby Carrie.
Baby Carrie was actually understandable.
And very cute.
I have a report card. Well, you don't go to school, Carrie. It was another.
No, but you can understand everything she said.
It's true.
Absolutely.
It's true.
Baby Carrie. I don't have a report card.
We do have to. We're going to do that episode where we bring the green bushes in, and we're going to talk about that.
All of this stuff. Hey, you guys, if you have any baby Carrie moments that we are forgetting about, how about we ask people? Tell us your favorite baby Carrie moments from which episode, so that we can gather all of this together and compile an episode for the best of baby Carrie. We're gonna post about this. This is how we're gonna do this thing, because I was like, how are we gonna find all the baby Carrie? You guys will help us. I know you will help us.
Yeah, you'll help us find baby Carrie.
That's today's episode, everybody. Join us on Patreon. We're going to be talking about more glasses, and more glasses, and perhaps some childhood bullying stories about
I can't see anything.
Glasses, and more glasses. I know I can't either. I'm so blind. But, join us on our socials, Little House 50 Podcast, or our website, littlehouse50podcast.com. Like and subscribe. Hey, I'm going to add this one. Also, leave us a review, a 5-star review. How about that? This all helps us, everybody.
Well, we shouldn't grovel and say leave us a 5-star. Just leave us a review.
Be honest about your 5-star review. But that helps us too. Anyway.
Be honest about your 5-star review. Very good.
Anyway, that's it for today. We'll see you next time. Bob, get the wig. Let's fly. But don't lose your glasses on the hill, though. It's bumpy terrain. No, Dean, no!